I wanted to tell you all that on March 21st, 2019, I celebrated 1 year as a happy non-smoker. I had not smoked for 9 years. I started smoking again in 2014, right before I was diagnosed with cancer. Like, that really makes sense. That's kind of crazy. And I had borrowed a few from a friend's son. It was kind of bumming cigarettes. And I started smoking immediately, like a pack a day. Boom. I was buying very expensive cigarettes. I was buying America Spirit cigarettes, which are about $8 a pack. And people kept saying, you need to quit smoking, you're a professional singer, why are you smoking, blah, 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 blah. So I looked into several different, if you will, methods or ideas. I talked to my one doctor, and he put me on Chantix, which made me crazy. And then Wellbutrin, and I looked into a couple of things, and I, went on YouTube, as one is wont to do, and found Allen Carr's Easyway to Stop Smoking, and a lot of testimonials and celebrities and things like that from this book called Allen Carr's Easyway to Stop Smoking. Dogs, just relax. And I picked up the Audible version of it, and I listened to it, and I said, well, this kind of makes sense. But I tend to be more of a visual person. I want to see things. Reading a book sometimes helps. Reading a book sometimes doesn't help. Sometimes I need to have people talk to me. So I went on the website, and I found out that obviously there are the seminars that you can go to, and they're not cheap, but they're definitely worth it. But the other thing, they had sort of the middle option between the book and the seminars, is the webinar. And how it works is that in 2018, it was $157, and you pay it. And you get to watch it for 30 days, starting with the first time that you watch the first episode, and there are 6 episodes. So I said, well, this sounds good. I'm going to do that. And I finally got around to watching the first episode, and I watched the first one, and I listened to them debunk the myths. I'm going to gain weight. It calms me down. It makes me think. I like it. I mean, all these myths about smoking, and they are myths. They call them the little lies. And then, of course, the big lie is what big tobacco does to keep us hooked. So I watched the webinar up to episode 4. That was as far as I could get. And then I just wasn't ready to put out that last cigarette. And you smoke through the whole thing. So I'm sitting there, watching the thing on my phone or my tablet and, smoking away. It's like crazy. Because one of the reasons why I got the webinar is because in February of 2018, I was at my brother's house. I was helping take care of my sister. And he lives out in the country. And I was running out of cigarettes. And I looked up on Google where the nearest place was where I could buy a pack of cigarettes. And it was about 3 miles away. I don't drive. I would have to walk 3 miles. So I really seriously thought about doing that. I seriously thought in February in Ohio about walking through almost 3 miles to get a pack of cigarettes and walking all the way back. Crazy, huh? Totally. It's just crazy. It's crazy the way it makes you think. It's stinking thinking. So I ended up taking an Uber to get my cigarettes. So I don't know which is crazier, spending $20 to get a pack of cigarettes or thinking about walking. And that's when I knew that this was just insane. And of course it's very costly. $8 a day was like $57 or $56 a week. And my husband also smoked. He smoked cigars, and I felt like that was sort of this social thing that we were doing together. You know, we were smoking together, which is kind of sick. So I watched the webinar, and I actually went to one of my doctors and I said, I'm seriously thinking about quitting. I'm making steps to quit smoking. And he said to me, I'll never forget, it was March 21st, and he said, you'll never stop smoking. He said, you're hooked. It's a mental thing with you. You'll never stop. You know, I've given you all these medications and advice and this, that, and the other thing, and you haven't quit smoking. Okay. So pissed, totally pissed at my doctor that I came home and I watched the whole thing again. Episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4. I get to episode 5 and I put out my last cigarette. I threw away the pack. Done. Okay? Seriously, I was done. Now, I'll tell you, I had no withdrawal symptoms. I had some mental things going on, but as far as physical, that was done in a day. Boom, done. I have not gained a single pound. I haven't lost any weight, but I have not gained a single pound since I quit smoking. So that myth is debunked. And I think that was one of my favorite debunking myths, because one of the things they said was if cigarettes really helped with weight control, there would be no fat smokers. And of course there are people that are overweight that smoke. I was tired for the first 2 weeks, but I knew, having quit before, that was just my body healing itself. And, you know, I coughed, a little bit, and got that all out of my system. But other than that, I was done. And I was feeling great. I am a professional singer. I got some of my higher range back. I can breathe better when I'm singing, when I'm performing, when I'm riding my bicycle, when I'm going up steps. I mean, I was getting wheezy. I don't have that anymore. My skin, I know you can't tell now, but, you know, just never mind. Facelift. My skin looked a lot better. I felt a lot better. And then my husband said, it's nice that your hair doesn't smell like cigarette smoke. And he was very smart about not pushing me to quit smoking. Because, of course, he smokes himself. As of this recording. So I want to tell you that I quit using the Allen Carr's Easyway to Stop Smoking webinar. You can find out more about it on their website. It was absolutely worth the money. I did, a couple of months later, go to New York for one of the seminars that go all day. And it was mostly to reinforce what the webinar had taught me. But I can really recommend the webinar if you're more of a visual person, if you really want to be able to play things back and forth for a month and really think about it. It's excellent. I can recommend it highly. I am a contented and happy non-smoker. I really recommend it. And I hope this helps somebody.